Sometimes life is messy. Have you ever wished you could refocus your mind, home, relationships, and work life? Join us as we use research-based information to make practical changes and simplify life. This is Life Simplified.
Welcome back to Life Simplified. This month, we have been highlighting the 5 languages of appreciation for the workplace. So as discussed, there are different ways to communicate appreciation and encouragement to our team, to our coworkers. And most of us pretty much want to be a good team player in whatever setting that we're in. So that's why it's important, and we are looking at the different languages of appreciation. We want to make sure that we're making our coworkers feel valued in the workplace and encouraging everyone to do the best that they can. So today, we're going to be digging in a little deeper to the language of tangible gifts. The language of tangible gifts, so the definition that we're going to be working with today, is the act of giving someone a physical gift to show appreciation to them. So these gifts, keep in mind, they're not related to compensation or an extra day off, but something that an individual can value. And it does mention in some of the materials to really give thought to what you're doing and what you're giving them, because it could be insulting or not efficient if you're giving them something just to give them something. So thinking about that, what is something that you all would appreciate if someone gave you for a tangible gift of appreciation?
I think for me, it doesn't really matter what the gift is. It's more of like, did they think of me when they purchased that gift? Was it something that they had me in mind? And like, just thinking of an experience several years back, I did have a coworker for my birthday. They bought me just like a little 6-pack of glass bottle Cokes, because Coke was my thing back then. I've since given up sodas, but that was my favorite thing. But I always would be like, but they're the best in glass bottles and I never get them. And so on my birthday, she left this pack of glass bottle Cokes. And for me, it wasn't like it was an extravagant gift, but it was because she had listened. She had heard me. She knew what I valued and what I enjoyed. And it was just the thoughtfulness of the gift that made me feel like she saw me and she cared.
I'd have to agree with that. It's not necessarily what it is specifically, but how it relates to you and shows you that they know you. So when I think back to some of my favorite gifts, they're definitely just the ones that were small. They were small things. Like I really enjoy Skittles, for instance, specific colors, mind you. And when somebody knows that and hands me a package of Skittles just because they thought about me. So I think it's not about what it is. It's just about them knowing your personality. And I love Post-it notes. So, funny Post-it notes would be something for me too. Just something that shows that they know who you are.
Exactly. So I think for me, it was a gift that somebody left on my office table, and it was a cutting board with an alpaca on it, and it had my name on it. So, and I may not have ever mentioned this on our podcast, but I have a dream of owning my own alpaca farm and just making a small business out of it. And so just that thought of her knowing that and leaving that on my desk, it really meant a lot. So I agree with you all. So as we've mentioned in our other podcast, there is a quiz that you can take to determine what language of appreciation that you have. And so I think all of us on here, we're not, our appreciation isn't tangible. So even if you have the feeling that, you just like gifts as gifts and that makes you feel important, whether they are really personal or not, that's okay too. But just keep in mind, these gifts may mean different things to different people. And so, as I mentioned, there is a quiz that you can take. It is a paid quiz, of course, but I did pull a few things from the quiz that would be selected if you were someone who felt appreciated with tangible gifts. So I'm going to read a few of those, and then so if you feel like these that can relate to you, then maybe this is the language that you would appreciate and want from your coworkers. So the first one is receiving a gift card from your favorite store would really encourage you. So that's an example. Another example would be just receiving a tangible gift encourages you. And so thinking about, as I was going through, it's maybe you were having a bad day or you're not really motivated to do a task and somebody gave you a gift card or gave you that and you're like, you know what? They really value me. I appreciate this. I'm going to do my best. So another one could be you receive an emotional lift when you receive a gift from a coworker. So that could be if you're having a bad day, you're struggling, something's going on in your life because life happens, right? We talk about it all the time. And that gift that they gave you makes you feel better, valued, and appreciated. And the last one is if I'm feeling unappreciated, so you just don't feel valued right now, where in your workplace or maybe the team that you're working with, receiving a gift to go do something fun helps you feel better. Again, these are just a few examples of things that you may select if you take the quiz that would show that your language of appreciation is tangible.
And I think it's interesting to point out that you said that not everyone is going to experience this the same way. And I also think back to, which this information comes from Dr. Gary Chapman and Paul White's book, Languages of Appreciation in the Workplace. And you may or may not be familiar that Gary Chapman has several different versions of these languages and the love languages. And while tangible gifts might be my love language, I don't know that it's necessarily my appreciation language. And I found that to be interesting when we were talking about these and going into more detail about the language of appreciation and how you may feel differently depending on the situation.
Yeah, and I was thinking a little bit like digging deeper into the beginning of this conversation when we were talking about, if it's specific to me, it shows they know me, that we have a relationship. I think that's because I really value relationship and quality time. So I think I'm pulling in a different language into this. But for just tangible gifts, if you think about it, for me, yes, the people that I'm very close with that would be my inner circle or who have known me for a long time, I think when they give me something that's very specific to me, my personality, my likes, that speaks to me. But if it's someone that I don't know really well, it's an acquaintance, and they give me anything, I do feel appreciated to a certain level. I am very happy to receive that. I feel flattered than I was thought of. So it doesn't have to be very, very specific to who I am. I think it depends on the situation and who is doing the gift giving. But I also know in my life, not just work life, when I think about love languages and appreciation languages when it comes to tangible gifts, I've noticed that typically the people in your life who are pretty good gift givers and gift giving is really important to them, that's typically their love language, because we all sort of default to showing appreciation and love in the ways that we most want to receive it. And so if you're not sure what language of appreciation a coworker is, if they are someone that is really big on gift giving or little surprises or little things like that, this is probably how they will feel most appreciated.
I definitely agree with that. I think that's a good indication. And I was thinking too, while y'all were talking, like sometimes when we're presenting or if you have someone come in and speak at your workplace, you give them a gift, right? Mm-hmm. You usually, here's a, whether it's a coffee mug or something, it may not be a gift card or something they, like you mentioned, specifically are interested in, but it's, hey, I really appreciate you coming, because you may not be able to give them money or something like that, depending on, wherever you work, but you can just give them a small thing to show appreciation. So although there are different ways, and like as we mentioned, the tangible gifts is not really ours, but it's still important to really try to dig in and find ways to relate to our coworkers who their appreciation to feel appreciated is tangible gifts. And so can you all think of any ways that we could do that in our workplace to try to be able to relate and understand our coworkers who this is their appreciation language.
Yeah, we have several people in our office. We're a larger office as far as an extension office goes. And so we definitely have a lot of different personalities, and I would imagine several different languages of appreciation. So I'm sure we will cover, our office will cover all of these. And so one of the things I try to do is, as I've worked with someone for a while, we get to know each other. So I know who is a coffee drinker, who is a tea drinker, who likes a certain restaurant in town or a certain candy. And so it can be easier as you build relationships with people to know how to show appreciation through tangible gifts. But one thing that we have done in our office that can be really helpful, because sometimes people come and go, and as new people come in, it takes time to get to know them, but you want to show them that you appreciate them as well. So we actually have a binder at our office that has just a little questionnaire that sort of asks everybody their favorites. So maybe what their favorite donut is, or their favorite dessert, what their favorite color is, what some of their favorite restaurants and stores are, and maybe hobbies that they have, or just any details about themselves that could help you kind of put a gift with them that would match their personality. You could have put Amanda I love alpacas, I want an alpaca farm, because I think I've put all kinds of things I love Barbie, send me some hot pink, and I'm in my Barbie era. I don't know, getting those really personalized things we can write on there. And it does help as you're getting to know each other, or if it's someone in the office that you're not as close with as others, you can go to that and see sort of what their likes are and try your best to attach a gift to that person that's really going to speak to them. And I think another thing, just as you were talking, I was thinking about, I don't know that it would be a terrible thing in an office staff meeting or gathering to have this discussion and see if people know what their language of appreciation are, or maybe even take the quiz as an office so that you can identify that. And I think, no matter which language you fall under, we all can feel appreciated by any of these languages. So I think it's never wrong to give a small token of appreciation that's a tangible gift. And I think once you can dig deeper and really know that person more, you can make that even more impactful.
I love both of those ideas. And when you were talking about the binder, it made me think at the beginning of the school year, at our school, the teachers send home, and they've been doing that for the last couple of years, just an information sheet about the teacher, and they put their favorite color and what their favorite snacks are and things like that. So when Teacher Appreciation Week comes, or you can appreciate teachers at any time because they do a very hard job, but that is really helpful, because then I can send something with my child that they would like, and that does show just a little bit token of appreciation. So I never thought about doing it in the office. We're a smaller office, so it's one of those things that you're thinking, well, do we really need to do that? But that would be an excellent idea, because we all get, I think, so busy. And it's not that we don't appreciate our colleagues, but sometimes are we the greatest at showing that appreciation? And something like that would be really helpful.
And I will say, I don't think this tangible gift or this gift of appreciation, I don't even think it necessarily has to be planned, and it doesn't have to be expensive. It's just saying, I thought of you. And I can give an example. There is one restaurant in town that I eat at, and the meal always comes with a cookie, and it's a pre-wrapped cookie. And there have been times that I take that back to the office, and I will give it to a coworker and be like, hey, do you want this cookie? I got this. And I didn't, it's nothing that was extra or that I thought about, but it's just going out of your way to just brighten someone's day, even with the smallest item. I think I'm looking at Ashley's desk right now, and she has a bag of chocolates on her desk. And just yesterday, I had some chocolates on my desk. And so as a couple coworkers came in and were chatting with me, I was like, hey, you want a chocolate? Here, let me share with you. And I think that is still a tangible gift. That's still I would like to share with you. I'm thinking of you. So I don't think, if you think, oh, I don't have the finances to do this, or I don't know how to do that, or tangible gifts isn't my language, so I feel like I'm not a good gift giver. anything ultimately will be appreciated, because at the end of the day, you took time to see and think about someone.
And I think you really said it when you said sometimes we don't think about showing appreciation to our coworkers, because I think about, sometimes I'm trying to get ready for a meeting and they come in and help me set the tables up, or, just helping greet clients when they come in and showing them where to go, or whatever it is that they do to help me out in my programming, or it could just be just showing up to work and just doing a little bit extra that day, whether it's for me or just for the office in general. Just remembering to do things like that, because a lot of times, if you think about it, when it mentioned before, you don't feel appreciated. And it's not that we, like you said, we really do, but we get busy and we don't think about just thanking people in this way of, thank you so much for helping me do that. So one thing it mentioned, and it made me think about it too, when Tiffany was talking about how they write down their favorite things. We write down milestones. So anniversaries, birthdays, workplace, anniversaries whenever you started working at the office. And we try not to miss those. And so that's something that if your appreciation language is tangible, they want those to be recognized. So that may be a good way to make sure you make that person feel appreciated, is try to remember their birthday or their anniversary or just something special, or it could be something great accomplishment that they did, whether they won an award or were recognized in the newspaper, whatever your work is and how that would apply to you, just giving them a little gift and being like, I saw what you did, that's awesome. And here just a little recognition in that way.
Yeah, I love that you said that. And full disclosure, I'm awful at remembering those special days. Like, I want to, I am not purposely just trying to not draw attention to those things, but I know for me, I'm not good at that. So I have to have that awareness and be more intentional in trying to work really hard to remember those days and celebrate those days, because I think we've said this numerous times, but we don't celebrate enough as adults. Like, as children and with our children, we celebrate all of the things they do, and we forget to continue that on into our adulthood. And I really think that that's important and valuable.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like we just need to celebrate if it's a tough week. Like,
right.
We made it to Friday. So, sometimes that's just a thing. So even though it may not be a milestone, just finding a way to celebrate and appreciate each other, I think is really what we're trying to go with. And that's why we're highlighting all these different 5 languages this month. So thank you all so much for joining us today on Life Simplified. And we hope that you learned a little bit more about how to show appreciation to your coworkers in the workplace who feel appreciated by tangible gifts. So if you're interested and you've missed maybe some of our other episodes, check out the rest of the month. We're going to be highlighting all 5 of the languages. So check those out. And again, we will have references for a website, also a reference to the book where we're gathering all this information in our show notes. And if you have any feedback, feel free to reach out to us on social media, on our Facebook, on our Instagram, or through our email. So thank you all so much for listening. This is Life Simplified.
Thanks for listening to Life Simplified. We are family and consumer sciences agents with the University of Kentucky Cooperative Extension Service. Contact us at lifesimplifiedpodcast@gmail.com.